Hello, welcome to the first lecture of medical ethics. If you're watching this lecture, you should have already read the first chapter of the textbook found in the textbook, and you should have looked at the handout associated with it. If you haven't done so, do so now. I'll sit and wait. Oh, great. You're back? Good. Okay, so you've read everything. Awesome. You're a great student. I hope you have a cup of coffee. So, or a snack. Now, here's what's happening in this chapter. Basically, the author, Alastair V. Campbell, is pushing back against this notion of conceiving of the body as property. He says this is a stupid idea. And he says this idea tends to be encouraged by free market economic systems. And we shouldn't allow it to happen. Medical ethics should not conceive of the body as property. That's the takeaway. Cool thing, you might want to check out Tom Waitz's video, Step Right Up. It's on YouTube somewhere. It's great. It kind of has to do with free market economics. Okay, but anyway, what's happening in this article? Okay, the first section basically says, look at medical science tends to prioritize reason and the body over emotion, and that's a problem. Well, Campbell draws on the work of Michel Foucault, who's a great French philosopher, to basically spell out why this happened. Okay, the key point of Foucault's text is that medical science becomes an investigation of the human body. This implies that the human body, the physical corpse, was given utmost priority. Medicine becomes identified as the science that elaborates on what the body is, can, and should do. The body, in this sense, becomes the regulative ideal that elaborates on the scope of medical science. But herein lies the problem. Look, if medical science is solely a study of the body, well, what about the rest? Humans are more than physical parts. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have drives, we have desires, and these things cannot strictly be reduced to a physical body part like a muscle or even an organ. So humans are much more than an assemblage of anatomical parts. We shouldn't do it. We shouldn't conceive of bodies as property, which means we have to recognize that we are more than an assemblage of parts, pieces of property. Okay, so second section of the argument. My body, my property. Okay, Campbell considers a position that is counter to his own. Campbell thinks that we're part of an interconnected web of individuals. Bound together. We're all in this together. Well, the argument against that is that we are isolated individuals and we can treat ourselves as property. Well, what does it mean to treat something as property? How do we know when we're doing it? Here Campbell specifies the list of a guy named Tony Onair. Came up with this list. He's a British lawyer and law professor, and he wrote 16 books. He's pretty important. Now, the 11-point list, basically, you can go through it. It's on the handout. It's in the text. What we need to know here is, look at, if you think that you can profit from something, then you're conceiving of it as property. If you can think that you can manage something, control it, then you're probably conceiving it as property. If you conceive of it as something you can give away or sell, you're probably considering it as property. If you think that your body is something that you can generate income with, you might be conceiving of your body as property. This is not something Campbell would support. What are the limits to the property paradigm? This is the next section of Campbell's chapter. Basically, Campbell says, look, how do I know something's property? Something is property if it has a certain individuality, if it is separate from other things. So like this water bottle from KU Leuven, Belgium. It's a great water bottle and it's mine. You can't have it. Well, what is involved in that claim? The fact that your water bottle, which I'm sure is great, is distinct, is separate, is not conjoined, is not connected to this water bottle. This is my water bottle, not yours. Yours is yours. Why? Because they're not joined together. Well, the thing is, bodies. We're part of an interconnected web. We're supported by our environment. We came from our environment. We're nourished by our environment. The food you eat, where did that come from? The gut bacteria that digests your food, where did that come from? It's part of the environment. We're not so distinct from it. This idea that man or human is an island is a myth. It's a horrible myth. We are not. We are all in this together, this life together. Now, bodies are interdependent, interconnected, and intermingling with others' bodies. This is true from conception onwards. We are in constant dependency upon and interaction with the living environment. From this relationship, we gain life itself. One outcome of this is like solitary confinement. That's why it's so terrible, because we're separated from our environment. Now, what's the next claim? The next claim that Campbell makes is, look at, why would we want to sell our bodies? Well, it doesn't seem like there's any good reason. Well, people say that in a free market economic system here, we might be pushed to the place where we can sell things. Look at, we live in America, right? Well, some of us, maybe all of us, live in America, and the idea here is anything has a price tag. Everything has a price tag. You want a car? How much does it cost? You want a cup of coffee? How much does it cost? Here's where you should pause the video and watch Tom Waits' excellent video, Step Right Up. It's on YouTube. Okay, good. You've done that now. Now, a free market economy basically says, hey, the economic system should not be regulated from above, and it should be, well, it should simply be without regulation. That means nobody should control what is for sale, and nobody should control the costs of anything for sale. Think about it. Not good. It means, hey, if you want to sell your body, as long as there's somebody who wants to buy it, like, hey, I like your finger, I want to buy your finger, cut it off. Well, there's no law system that says you shouldn't sell this, especially in a world where everything seems to be for sale. And how much is it worth? Well, whatever the market will support. This, for Campbell, is an atrocious idea. This is the commodification of the body. And for Campbell, medical ethics should push back strenuously against this. If we conceive of the body as property, it means we might be in a situation where we should sell the body. Campbell thinks that's bullshit. We never want to even approach that world. That world is a moral anarchy in which the value of a human person is horribly diminished. Medical ethics, in Campbell's view, must strenuously argue against any suggestion that it is okay to conceive of bodies and parts of bodies as akin to pieces of property. And where does this notion have its core? Where does it have its root? It has its root in the prioritizing of reason over emotions. This is an inadequate view of human life. Human life, the true subject of medical ethics, should be the multiplicity and the dynamic range of possibilities of all a human can do, and limiting medical ethics to merely the functioning of body parts tends to lead to the conception of the human body as a piece of property, which might suggest that this can be bought and sold on a marketplace, or parts of your body. And Campbell says, no. That must be argued against very strong. Now, that's it for my lecture. 9 minutes, 36 seconds. Not bad. What you have to do now you have to answer the discussion question. I'm looking for like about a page, like a paragraph page. Certainly no more than a page, just to show that you're thinking about things. All right, and tune in next week and watch the next lecture. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you enjoyed your snacks. Hope it wasn't terribly boring. Bye-bye.